Hello again, friends. Today was one of those days where everything that I ever knew and loved about Buddyfight was questioned over some of the most nonsensical rulings that I had ever heard Bushiroad produce. After questioning them, I found out that the rulings were in fact legitimate. The question that I asked was roughly, why does Glory Seeker trigger the instant a player hits 0? Shouldn't it wait until the next available playtiming to resolve, as it is an automatic ability? Bushiroad's response was that it actually is not an automatic ability, but it's rather a continuous effect with a trigger. It seems weird for a continuous ability to have a trigger condition because that's exactly what an automatic ability is. It sounds like an automatic ability when you say, if your life would hit 0, do X. I was about to send in another question to get clarification on what the difference is when I decided to do some research on my own to figure out what actually makes an effect continuous versus automatic. To begin with, if you aren't aware of what the difference is between the two, the only difference that separates a triggered continuous ability versus an automatic ability is that a continuous effect happens instantaneously, even in the middle of a different card's resolution. You also cannot respond to a triggered continuous effect with any card effect. Automatic abilities, however, will fire off on the next available playtiming. The main card in question for the example was Nanomachine Ninja Tsukikage. Its effect says Nanomachine Body Replacement. If this card would be destroyed, you may discard a non-monster card from your hand. If you do, this card remains on the field. I decided to compare it to another card with the same trigger, Death Ruler Avaria. Avaria's skill says, Death Dive. When this card is destroyed by your opponent's card, deal 1 damage to your opponent. The difference between these two effects is that Tsukikage says would, and Avaria says when. Going back to, if your life would hit 0 cards, such as Brave Equipment, Glory Seeker, and the Arc, we can see that these cards all contain the would keyword instead of when. This is why the impact Brave Energy Full Drive was ruled to pop Glory Seeker, have Glory Seeker resolve completely, and then deal its second packet of damage. I haven't been able to find too many other continuous triggered abilities that make a difference. Most of them are granted through spells or abilities like Drago Bond, and the vast majority of them function identically to Soul Guard, which is also a continuous triggered ability. Of the examples that I've looked through, I've found 2 that are somewhat worth mentioning. The first is Armor Knight Goblin. Goblin's skill says, when this unit would be destroyed, add all of the cards in this card's soul to your hand. This means that the instant Goblin gets popped, even before the attack or ability that destroys it finishes resolving, Goblin's soul is now in your hand, and your opponent can't do anything to stop it at that point. This can be combined with, say, Armored Gate for some form of nonsense if you want to get very creative. It is still mostly useless, though. The second card that I wanted to mention annoys me more than anything else has annoyed me in this entire situation. This card has an automatic ability and a continuous triggered ability. Now, that's not so bad, right? At least they aren't the same skill, right? Right? Wait, what? That's right, this card, Death Talika, has a single skill that is both a continuous triggered effect and an automatic ability. When this card is attacked, or when this card would leave the field, you may put 3 cards from this card's soul to the bottom of your deck to nullify that attack, or prevent this card from leaving the field. You might be thinking, but Tim, how does that even work? The answer is that if you're using the skill to nullify an attack, it is an automatic ability and can be responded to. If you are using the effect to stay on the field, it's a continuous ability and it cannot be responded to. How you choose to use this skill will dictate which type of ability it is. Confused yet? Well, I still am, because the would ability also has when in the same section of that ability, so Talika contradicts that little rule that I made earlier. Did I mention that this card's existence of having an ability with 2 different types of trigger conditions with wording that doesn't coincide with the common wording for one of those types of abilities is extremely annoying? The long and short of it is that triggered continuous abilities are identical to automatic abilities, only they resolve the instant they are triggered before anything else happens. So I'm coining a term. We have automatic effects and do it now automatic effects. I hope that this cleared things up for people who are confused. Have a good one.